Going live. All right, now we are live. Just throw some chucks out there. All right. Hello, crafters. Just gonna throw out some happiness to some of my friends.
Hello, Commodore.
And let's close this crap out. All right.
I'd also call it Battle Scribe.
It's Battle Scribe because Battle Scribe, even though it's just a data pool, it's just like
It's a big data. Yeah, there we go. There goes the lag.
Look at that. We're all good.
There we are. Connection unstable. Please don't.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just our network connection. Maybe
you just suck.
Maybe just everything sucks.
Maybe you suck.
No, I'm pretty sure everything. I mean, you're trash.
That's rude.
It's proof. Everything on the floor is
How
trash.
can you say that about me?
I mean,
I haven't said anything to insult you, and you just insult me.
I mean, look. When I'm done with stuff, I throw it away. And I'm done with him.
You can leave.
No, you can't.
Alone.
It's not like we don't got a lot to talk about tonight. Holy hell, do we have a lot to talk about tonight?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh,
Oh,
boy.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Busy night. All right, let's talk about... I'm not even going to ask you what's on the bench because you don't have nothing on the bench right now.
I am still working on stuff.
What are you working on?
You're
not working on any figures. You're working on other stuff.
Okay, fine.
Well, what were you working on figure-wise? Did you build any figures?
Okay.
Did you paint any figures?
No.
Okay.
I've been trying to make progress, but it's hard.
You know, you could be down here when I'm working on stuff.
I'm busy.
Doing what?
Gaming.
So meanwhile, I've been busy as hell. Ray is a bum.
What do you mean? Why is everyone being mean to me?
Well, look at you. Your hair's not brushed. Your beard's not brushed.
You know, I'll leave. That's it. I'll just leave.
If you come back with your hair brushed, that'd be fine.
No.
It's homeless D. Look at that shirt. Oh my God. You're just...
I asked you if it was a problem.
I said yes.
Well, you didn't offer an alternative.
Go put a different shirt on.
I won't have another shirt right.
Oh my God.
Fuck you.
Do you see what I have to put up with? God.
Fuck you.
You're awful. You're the worst.
It's not that bad. It's honestly not that bad. And you haven't been busy. You've been playing Terraforming Mars.
While I'm in the midst of painting an army.
Books.
Which, oh really? You want to check in the box over there? Of all of them?
Go
Are you going to get into that with me? Because you know what I finished over there.
You didn't finish anything. You still have a whole army to fucking paint.
Yeah, but I got a half an army to paint.
Half?
Yeah.
Half?
Yeah, all the red parts
Half?
are done. Half. All the red parts are done.
Half? I bet you.
It's man, we are ruthless tonight.
Just go upstairs.
Oh,
Let you do the stream alone.
Oh, Mr. Ruthless. All right, here we go. Okay, so yeah, I've been painting the crap out of Sisters of Battle in a custom scheme.
No.
I have been finished painting up the rest of my Space Wolves. I think that was... I might have even had that done on last week's stream, but I was close. I know it's been all over Instagram. Well, I didn't do a stream last week because I was in the midst of busy painting stuff. So I finished up this guy last week for my tournament army. And then finished up this beefy boy to go with him. Decal work, some custom paint, some custom paint job and whatnot. And then I did their older brothers. They're littler, but older brothers in my twin Volkite relic contemptors.
Oh my god.
Finished up both of these big boys.
Toxic.
I finished up about. Luckily, I only have 2 of them in my army.
Yeah.
I thought about 3. I really thought about squeezing a third one in there.
Why didn't you?
Because I wanted 2 and 2. Yes, I did the Volkites with Tesseract Glow, and then a dry brush over the top of the Tesseract Glow in an electric yellow paint that I have, just a slight touch of it, and then I did the plasma. Stop! Why so nauseous? I did the plasma for these guys. I painted it white and then hit it up with Warp Lightning green, the contrast, and then highlight it in moot green, and then I have one more layer of highlighting in lemon yellow, which is made by Vallejo. And it's a very pale yellow, but it's very translucent, so the green shows through, and I get this lovely glow look. All of my Space Wolves, all of their plasma is that scheme. I use it for every single one of them. There's guys walking around with plasma pistols. I've got plasma pistols, plasma rifles. I've got a plasma for one of my tanks. Everything. I did my plasma in that scheme so I'd have consistency with that army. Volkites are related to plasma, but not exactly. They're like warp lightning, so I wanted to make it brighter, like a brighter. Oh my goodness! It's Wolf Brother Mythos. Give me a little bit of his time. I know. I appreciate that, sir. Hope it's okay. I threw that link up in your Discord there. But yeah, I mean, so I've been painting the crap out of my wolves. I finally got my army completely done for this tournament, which is coming up this Saturday at Falklandia Gaming.
Like this week, Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday. It's
man, you had fun with that.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 rounds, 2,000 points, 16 players, 8 tables. And when I finished with them up, was I had to get them done because I wanted to start getting to the Sisters battle, the Sisters army. Now, I'd already been working through the red. I had the last few reds to do, and now I'm working through the miniatures themselves. And I finished up about 20 models so far of the 102 or 103 models in the army. After we're done with the stream, I'm going to attack another unit of them. I'm doing them 1 unit at a time, just knock it out. So, and you keep showing this stuff off. I gotta say, this stuff is amazing. This is neutral texture for rough terrain, acrylic diorama series by AK Interactive. It's hard to describe. It's hello. I mean, I'm trying to see if they have how many ounces this thing is. It's 250 milliliters. So the GW bottles, I believe, are 25 milliliters. So it's 10 times the material that you would get out of, say, one of their terrain pots for 1.5 times the price. And it's a neutral color. It's completely white. So You don't have to try and prime over it and then come up with another color. You can just immediately go into it with a nice color and wash it right off the bat. But it dries really quickly, has a wonderful texture. I'm doing all the sisters bases in this and then putting some tufts on them. When I've got more of them done, I'm going to take some group shots of them as we're going. Mr. Tesh, good to see you.
God,
Tog Miniatures. Hey, we're doing good. Look at this. We got a bunch of people here tonight. I appreciate all of y'all coming in tonight. So yeah, I mean, on the bench, I mean, I've got a ton of figures working on them, and I got to get these knocked out because I want to get these turned over to Quinn over at Factlandia as quickly as I can, so that I can quickly finish up the last little bit I have to do on Commodore's terrain, because I've been chipping at it in between working on projects while stuff is drying. So that's actually almost done as well. And then once that's all done, I'll be just in time to start cracking on my Tau that I've got mostly built, like 99% built. I think I've got like a dozen figures. I've got one unit left to build. But I don't know what I'm doing. It's like a gigantic box of, like, I should say it's equivalent unit. I have a box, like a shoebox size box filled with drones. And I don't think I'm going to build those until the new codex comes out in January, because I don't know what drones I want to run. I've got all my base drones for most of my units. But then I want to start cracking on them. They've all got their base on them, and a lot of the units already have their first pin wash done because I'm doing them in a really simple base body. They're going to be a very pale gray with black lining, and then I'm going to be doing some squad markings and simple markings on them in Gene Stealer purple and Moot green, but only parts of them. They're mainly going to be this gray, and then a little bit of gold for the Tau symbols themselves. And then after that, that's pretty much it. I mean, they're very simple. Some of the bigger boys, I actually got this wonderful kanji, what do you call it? Graffiti generator. So I can print them out. I can have the Kender cut them out on her Cricut in the vinyl. And I can lay them on the figures and use the airbrush to actually put graffiti on the bigger mechs.
That's cool.
Because I have this whole idea that I want to have like like just honor or valor and fight first, just simple words about this positive message with them, but I want to do it in the graffiti thing, like they're putting this on just before they are rushing into battle. So
yeah,
which I think will be pretty cool.
I need to continue working. It's just hard.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You need to come down here while I'm working on stuff so I can sit down with you and we can do on stuff together. That's always the easiest way to do it. It is so much easier to hobby when you've got somebody with you. That's the reason I get distracted by when I'm playing Terraforming Mars. I got this wonderful Humble Bundle in October that was to help out the Search for the Cure Foundation for breast cancer. There was a $12 bundle. I know I throw it to a lot of my socials out there. I actually advertise it like crazy because it was a whole bunch of board games that had been ported over, and they're board games I really like. There's Terraforming Mars. There is what do you call it? I forget the name of the real game.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride, and all the expansions. It was like literally there was like 15 expansions for Ticket to Ride. There was Scythe in there. There's Pandemic with like 3 expansions on Pandemic. It was just a whole bunch of board games. And so I kind of run them because they're turn-based, so I can do my thing and then go back to painting, and then do my thing and then go back to painting, and I can just wait. Oh, okay, it's my turn. Let me finish what I'm doing, and I can go paint some more. And I can do them while I'm at my bench. The problem is I get distracted because I really love Terraforming Mars, but it's also the easiest to do while I'm painting. So, and if I had somebody here with me, that'd be great.
See, I can do the hobby sessions are fun, and after games I might do them because
Yeah.
after game on Friday, that might be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Friday nights are awesome, dude. I got so much done this last Friday. It was so great. I really appreciate that. I'm actually thinking about kind of doing the same thing on the weekends, like doing like a Saturday night one, where I just live stream. It's kind of like right now I've got so much things going on that are all really good and things are really positive. Things are finally coming together, and as they come together, more junk is getting cleared out of the house, and I'm getting to deliver models back to their owners, and it's great. And that's a good thing. And now that Lady D got a job working at a gaming store, I got to start prepping for next for Christmas. Because, yeah. The fun part about it is because of part of her job, guess what game she has to learn how to play competently?
40K?
No.
What?
Magic the Gathering.
Oh.
I mean, she knows the basics, but she's actually going to be learning how to like sit down and actually play a game of Magic the Gathering and teach people how to play it. And she's going to be building terrain there and doing painting classes, which is cool. And I'm going to be helping out there a little bit just because it's a brand new store. They got brand new staff. She's going to be building terrain and painting it. And I'm trying to get a couple of people to get up there to game sometimes because it's a little easier for me to get there than it is to go to Factlandia during the week. So it's like the weekends are my time for Factlandia. During the week, I can just pop right over to that store, especially because she's going to be working most Thursdays. So I'm going to be her ride home. So I go there, play a game, and then take her home. I mean, that just works out really well. Get you some practice on Thursday nights too. Maybe. Yeah, other Thursday because you got your game every other Thursday. We'd alternate Thursdays. Because your game isn't every Thursday, is it?
We have 2 games that alternate Thursdays. You're in one of them. You're not in the other one. That's the point.
Lame. When is the opening? Oh, it's open now. The grand opening, the big grand opening with the drawing and all the groovy stuff is happening Black Friday. But they opened up this past weekend. So they're open there now. They're just starting up. And yeah, that's daunting as I just left that game too, Tog. I played Magic for 25 years, like really hardcore. And when I got back into 40K, I sold off my entire collection. I was so done. And that's the thing. I want to facilitate people playing the game. I want to facilitate people playing games, period. I mean, everybody knows I talk about 40K all the time, and I talk about Age of Sigmar all the time. I'm like super in Age of Sigmar now. I really like the new rules for Sigmar. I really like 3.0. Like, I want to get my Slaneshi army built and get some other pieces for it and get that going because I really, really like the game. And I like how my army plays in it. But, and Ray wanted to get his orcs going or something else, or Stormcast or something, and we'll get that going for Age of Sigmar. If nothing else, we can get games going there. And John, the manager there, it's like if you want to get like an escalation league going, we can get an escalation league, which we can do some more, get some games going and just facilitate gaming, bringing people into the community and bringing people in the hobby. Where's this new store? Now, if you're in the Milwaukee area, Games Universe has a brand new store that is just in Mequon, right off of Mequon Road in Port Washington. It's actually on Port Washington. If you know the area, you're literally just getting off the Mequon Road exit, take a left turn right onto Port Washington Road, and it's right next to the Chancery there. It's really easy to get to. Like, from my house, it's 10 minutes. So it's awesome. It's a really good time. And it's a big store. It used to be either I thought it was a men's store, but it was either a men's store or an old, what do you call it? An old, Barnes and Noble, but it's a big store. They have a huge shops. They have a huge gaming area. That goes to the owner. I got to give the owner credit. He has always been about having a good sized gaming space. Like, They've got in their Brookfield location, they've got, I want to say, like 10 tables, like 10, 12 tables there. The Franklin location has like 10 tables there. This place has like 6 right now, but they just opened, so they're still organizing stuff. Hang on, let me see here. I gotta go back to. I'm just quick going back here. Yeah, is it bigger than Franklin? No. I mean, Franklin's just such a huge location, but it's really comparable. It's funny. The front end of the store is a lot like the same size as the Brookfield store, but they're on the side where there's a gaming. It's a bit smaller, but it's still big. I mean, it's almost as big as those 2 locations. It's still pretty good, though. We should hook up during the week and get over there. Well, oh, that's right. He bought the business. It's not the original owner. See, I knew the original owner, the original owner of Game Universe. He was really good buddies with my roommate back in college, so they knew each other. He knew me through them. I forgot that's they had sold the business. So, there's a lot of the gaming community in the greater Milwaukee area. There's a lot of everybody kind of knows everybody. I mean, the funniest thing is when I realized that my buddy Tech Noir Painting, he knows guys I've known for 30 years that I used to do LARPing with back when I was younger and able to move without dying. People I've gamed with in the past. One of the guys at the regular store that we game at, or used to, he's actually the son of one of my oldest friends. I would have never recognized him because I remember him being like a little kid. And I hadn't seen him in like a decade, and it was funny because he looks like his dad went prematurely gray. So it's like, oh, he's in his early 30s and he's completely gray. I'm like, wow, what the hell? Yeah, I remember that.
I forgot my LARP is this Friday. Ooh.
You got LARP on Friday?
Yeah.
Is Race taking you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, hey, gee, man, look at this. We got all these wonderful people here tonight. Let's go back there. We got G, we got wonderful things. We got Tog D, we got Commodore, we got my man Vay, we got my man Mythos. Who else we got here? Mr. Kirschbaum, of course.
Tina.
And Tina. Oh, I didn't see Tina in there. Hello, Tina. And we got Mr. Tesh, my man, Greg Tesh. And the one thing I got to quick say about Greg Tesh, he actually lives in walking distance from the store. So we're going to get him out of the house and get him and his deadly Necrons out over to that game's universe and get him playing some more too. Plus, I already told him on weekends, come with me, man. I'll come get you. You're 10 minutes from my house. I'll come get you and take you. We'll have a good old time. Oh, God, that parking lot on the place across the street from Walmart, that parking lot, every time I try to pull out of there, because I've always had minivans, it's like, oh, my God, I'm going to crash into something, because that parking lot was like... It is the definition of a fat man in a too small suit. It's just like, I'm gonna wreck everything. So yeah, it's just great. I'm glad to see. It's an amazing thing to see. I've been gaming long enough that I've seen 2 major downturns in the industry and weathered them. I mean, you had the 07-08 crash that affected everything, including small business and the gaming industry. And you had even earlier, the crash around 2000 when tabletop role-playing games almost died off like really bad. I mean, it was a real bad time then. A lot of companies went under. The The company I used to work for, freelance, I did a lot of freelance work for, went under at that time. It was sad to see. And then we had COVID, and that crushed a lot of businesses for like 2 years. And now you're seeing lots of Kickstarters, lots of companies coming out of the woodwork, new games, new miniatures, new miniature makers, new board games, new war games, new gaming stores. I think we're seeing a renaissance. I think everybody is so hyped and so hot to get back to social gaming that I think gaming is going to see like a major resurgence over the next few years.
Well, Jesus Christ, man. Well, because part of it is there was in like the last 5-6 years, maybe a little bit longer back, there was kind of the social media rise of tabletop gaming specifically, which can kind of be attributed to things like Geek and Sundry and Critical Role as part of that, because they made that stuff big. They made it marketable, and then from there, things kind of spread out. Because 40K, like, well, a lot of people in certain communities know about it. It's never been, like, I had never played the war game itself until, when Dad got into it.
When I got back,
but I knew about
40K. I want to say 2018?
Yeah.
2017, 2018, something like that. About a year after, actually not even a year, probably about 6 months or so after 8th edition dropped.
But like for a long period of time, like gaming was still, like tabletop gaming was still very, very niche. And then like 2015, 2016, around that time period, there was this shift in, I don't even want to say society, but almost where like that stuff started becoming like cool.
Well, and the funny thing is, you know what I actually think it happened, where it came from? Honestly, looking at where that period of time is, I think you saw the rise of internet and the rise of internet publicity for things, and you're seeing people not afraid, big name people embracing their geek, because you look at those early to mid teens, you had the Guild come out. Warcraft blew up bigger than ever, and they immediately went to a tabletop version. There's a whole bunch of that blew up there at that time. And then you had this huge renaissance of board gaming that happened first. And it actually, that big renaissance in board gaming happened in Europe, and it crept over here because there was suddenly, instead of the mass-produced games that you saw over, Parker Brothers and that, you had all these small gaming houses that came up with their wonderful, wonderful board games that were fun and interactive, and in some cases, not even versus. You were all working towards universal goals together.
And it's really funny because, like, part of that time was, I don't want to like put it on the shoulders of it, but D&D 5th edition came out at around that period of time.
Yeah,
and that, I think that was also part of it. D&D 5th edition being as easy as it is to jump right into.
It's a very accessible game.
And
I think it's their least complicated edition, and yet still has enough depth to it that it's fun.
Yeah. I know some people don't really enjoy that part of it because there are some people who prefer Pathfinder 3.5, and I totally get that. But 5e kind of started, not on its own, of course, but began a start of growth into that step forward. And then you have internet shows, again, like I said, Geek and Sundry, but more specifically, like...
But it's not even just that. You just had big Hollywood stars embracing their geek and not hiding it anymore. You look at...
That was more of like the last 3 years.
No, not really. You look at Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel was talking about his D&D campaign and even had a movie in like 2015 or 2016.
Oh yeah, but that's actually funny because that's the reason for that. I actually so in 2015 there was, I think it was like one of the episodes of Critical Role where Vin Diesel was on like a special.
Yeah,
they did like a special like D&D thing through Wizards of the Coast, And that was a few months after he had said, it was a few months after he had like come out and said stuff like that, and that started like other celebrities started saying
exactly.
I mean, the fact that Vin Diesel finally admitted that he likes to play D&D on the set.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You had Vin Diesel, you had Joe Manganiello, Felicia Day.
Okay, if anybody didn't know Felicia Day played D&D, they're idiots.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like they turned that into a big thing. I mean, Wesley Crusher. Gosh, I can't believe it. I'm sorry, Will Wheaton. I didn't mean to just call you Wesley. Shut up, Wesley. And Henry Cavill. It's really funny when you listen to Henry Cavill. He almost didn't get the job as Superman.
Yeah,
because he almost missed his audition. Because he was in the midst of a raid in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, but Henry Cavill was again one of those that came out with it more recently. So that's why, but you really attribute it to.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. It's become one of those things that us geeks and gamer types have always been there.
Yeah.
But people always felt the need to hide it. And I guess one of the nice things about this newer, more open generation, this newer and more open worldview, is that people are like, I'm a geek, deal with it. If you don't like it, go away. I'll find my people. And people don't feel the need to pretend that they're not something. I mean, I remember in high school when I was a kid back in the 80s. When I was a kid in the 80s, you didn't tell girls that you played D&D. You didn't let that out there. You didn't talk about that stuff. I did. I said, to hell with it. Deal with it. And that's why I always had a girlfriend that I got to play games with, and it was fun. But, most of the time you don't talk about that because there was this stigma of being nerds. Now, nerds are cool. I mean, let's be honest. Nerds are the people that make this world go around. That's why we have internet. That's why we have cell phones. That's why we have bosses. So, and gaming is big business. Oh my gosh. It's Lady D. She's just waving in. She is exhausted. Or were you wearing makeup? You were not wearing makeup? Go to bed.
I look that bad.
You look like a raccoon. Did somebody punch you in the eye? I'm not joking. You look like somebody punched. You look like somebody punched you in the face.
My eyes have been hurting.
Yeah.
Lay down.
Did you? And you weren't wearing like eyeliner or something?
I wore eyeliner up here, but not that
And
much.
you streaked it all down on your face. Then you need to wash your face. You look like
honey,
I'm telling you,
that's not eyeliner.
Okay, well then go to bed because you look like somebody punched you out. Someone beat my wife, and it wasn't me for once.
He doesn't beat me.
Oh
I
my
beat
God.
him.
Uh,
I'll throw a cat at you.
No.
Vin Diesel taught Dame Judi Dench how to play D&D. She could play with her grandkids. And see, that's the thing. It's so
Also
great.
watching Joe Manganiello go I know Vin Diesel says he plays D&D, but I know all the guys in Hollywood who play D&D, and he's not part of our D&D group. Called him out on social media. Have you seen Joe Manganiello's dungeon basement? His D&D base?
No,
oh my God,
dude, he's awesome. No, I mean I can look at it from the funniest point of me in D&D, because me and your Uncle Thomas were playing D&D, and you came to the table. I want to play, and I'm like, all right, here's a player's handbook. When you can bring me back a character that's fully built by the rules, you can play. About a month later, he comes back with a character sheet written out. He was 7 or 6. And I made him read that book and understand how to play that character, how to roll the dice, how to do everything.
They're harassing me. Give them to me. You can have Amaretto. Amaretto's like, let me the fuck out.
Kittens. Nope. Kittens want to go.
Amaretto's like, please, God, let me go.
Oh, and it's awesome because she loves the fact that he plays. He can go in the basement and play, and I can go do what I got to do, and we're good. you know, and and that's the other thing. I mean, it's really funny. I guess I got to say, this wasn't even what we were going to talk about tonight, but this is great. It's a great conversation. I guess we're going to talk about relationship advice here for a brief minute, because I've come to realize something really important. And I realized this in my life very early on.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't got time in your life to be with somebody that is going to support you in your hobby, whatever it is, then you ain't got time to be with that person. Because I hear about all these guys. Unfortunately, one of my good buddies, Mr. Pale Orc, is one of them. His wife hates him gaming, and hates him talking about gaming, hates hearing about him gaming. He's constantly like, oh, because, you know, people will be with partners that aren't into gaming, and then they have this negative connotation to gaming. I could not live my life like that. Just couldn't do it. If you can't deal with gaming, you can't deal with me, because I am a gamer. I paint figures. I play with figures. I play board games. I play role-playing games. I'm on my computer. I'll spend time with you all you want. But we're going to do hobby stuff too.
I'm trying to teach my gal how D&D works and all that. So it's a work in progress.
You're what? What would you just say?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, continue. We were.
You have a girl?
I have an individual I am seeing in a romantic basis. Anyway, continue.
Why is this the first time hearing about this? And she's actually seen you?
Yes. Not like in person, but yes.
All right then. All right, everyone. Oh shit! Look at that. Everybody's proud of you, Ray.
Oh my fucking god, you're all degenerate. Go away. Stop.
All right. So we have now expounded on the lovely. When did this happen? When did this start?
Anyway, so we no,
hang on a freaking moment.
A sheet of information. So the balance is like,
hang on a second here.
I'm not telling you shit.
Well, now you got to get a job.
Because you're going to give her.
No, I'm not going to give her nothing. You got to get a job now, because you got to be able to take that woman out.
Visit her. It's fair.
Whatever. Do what you got to do. Your job. Get you working. Hey, Commodore. You need
fuck up. We have
all right.
things to talk.
So let's talk about the real topic here. We are halfway through the show. Let's get to the real topic. And that would be this big drop today. Oh my God. The internet exploded about 11 o'clock this morning when Warhammer Community dropped designer's notes, and the new balanced data slate came out. This is huge. Oh my God, this is so huge. So before we get into it, let's talk about what the meta in the game is yesterday, before this came out. So the big orc army that has been just crushing tournaments that it shows up at is basically somebody running 9 rocket trucks, 4, like 2 Blitz-A-Bombers and 2 Burn-A-Bombers, and then some guys to grab some actions. And just at the SoCal majors, like 2 weeks ago, did you hear about this, right? What happened at SoCal majors?
Yeah, the one turn.
Turn 1, he tabled, or mostly tabled, the stop. He mostly tabled the Drukhari army he was playing against. Turn 1, he went second and basically mostly tabled the army. Just absolutely destroyed the army he was playing against. It was ridiculous. Absolutely redonkulous. Raceland, the red cheeks. Of
So one
Luntaria.
thing. So actually, no, we'll get to that.
So get that. So we had that. You had the one of the two variations, one of the two main variations of the AdMech list that's been going on has had 4 flyers in it, which was 2 of the Raptors and 2 of the Thopters. Basically, one's a big gunship and one's a big bomber. And they have been just wrecking armies. And then they have all this other crap behind them. And the Drukhari have been... Do not... And you got the Drukhari that have been running around with just mobs and mobs and mobs and mobs of witches, just overloading the board with witches. And so they've been really hard to deal with. Then today they dropped this data slate. And I want to say the changes that they made here are as big a deal in 8th edition when they added the new rule of the rule of 3. Because there were a couple armies that were running around that were doing ridiculous stuff because there was no rule of 3. There was a Chaos Marine army that was doing like mortal wounds, like 20 and 30 mortal wounds around with a psychic act, with a single action. It was just, they were just, I forget how it worked out, but it was like these guys would do a psychic action and then all these other things would trigger off of it. And it was just ridiculous. And that was one of the big things with the rule of 3. This is as big, if not a bigger change. So let's go over the big changes. What's the first one?
The balanced data sheet, the data slate, whatever fucking. Universal match play rule. When mustering your army for a match play game, it cannot include more than 1 aircraft model if you're playing combat patrol or incursion-sized game. More than 2 aircraft models if you're playing a strike force-sized game. And more than 3 aircraft models if you're playing an onslaught-sized game.
Okay, so basically, if you're playing 1,000 points and less, you get 1 aircraft. If you're playing 2,000 points, you get 2 aircraft. And if you're playing more than 2,000 points, you get 3 aircraft. So now here's the thing. It's not units, it's models.
Yeah.
There are 2 armies that have been really negatively affected that weren't messing up the meta by this.
The Imperial Guard is one of them.
The Imperial Guard is really bad because there is a very popular, it's not a good army, but it's a fun and very thematic army that what do you call it? That the Tempestus Scions are running. Where they're running 2 vultures full of drop troops and then 2 of their fighters as guards on those things. They run a very thematic, Ride of the Valkyries type thing coming in there. And you can't run that army anymore. Even though the vultures only count as a single unit and the 2 fighters count as a single unit. It's just not allowed anymore.
But does the Orc flying vehicle count as a single unit? Like for getting multiple of them? That's the question.
It wouldn't matter because it's the rule.
No, but why I'm asking that.
No, they were units.
Okay.
You don't get multiple flyers per unit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No, I agree. I feel like that's one of the rulings that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I understand the point behind it. I feel like it should be units, but...
It might be units. Now, here's the thing. When the Imperial Guard get their book, that may be a change. That may be an addition. This is only a FAQ update. This isn't... they're still going to be doing... what do you call it? Chapter approved. They said in early 2022. So you figure end of winter, beginning of spring. So like March, we're going to get chapter approved. That'll probably take all of this in and update some of it and change some of it around. And it may just make it exceptions for specific. And they probably change it to models at that point. Or not models, but to units at that point, because both of those are 2 units in a single, 2 models in the same unit. Ryan was saying the same thing. Ryan's running Remoras, which are like 50-point giant drones. But they come in a unit of up to 4 of them. You can have up to 4 of them in a unit. But the rule says 2 aircraft models. So right now, you can only have 2 of them in an army.
So that is the.
And I'm talking 2,000 points because specifically 2,000 points is where virtually all competitive play happens at.
No, that was the universal match play rule. Now, we get into the actual army-based rules.
Now, I will also point out real quick, too, the other thing about that is that's specifically for match play. So if you're playing cinematic or not
Open or narrative.
If you're playing a narrative game and everybody's cool with it, play all your freaking aircraft. If you're playing for narrative purposes, go and have a day.
Now, Jefferson Mechanicus and Drakari are also on this page. They don't have any rules updates. They have points updates.
And we'll come to those because I basically got an overview of what they did.
But we're going to start with Astro Militarum. The save characteristic of Astro Militarum Lehman Russ models is changed to 2+.
So 2 ups for Lehman Russes. No invul save, obviously. Now, I heard some griping about this because the Baneblade is still a 3 up. And the Baneblade doesn't have an invul save. But here's the thing.
How does the Lehman Russ have better armor than a Baneblade?
It's not the fact that it has better armor. It's not actually better armor. Remember, they've kind of changed what some of these stats totally mean. In the case of Lehman Russ, they're durable pieces of junk. You can beat the hell out of a Lehman Russ and it'll still function. So a really high armor rating is basically its ability to take damage and just shrug it off and keep moving. That's the mentality behind that.
It's a little dumb.
No, I think by design that really works. I think by design that really works. Now, I am saying because right now the Baneblade's virtually unusable in competitive play, and actually it's not really good in non-competitive play either. It puts out a lot of damage, but gets wiped off the table pretty freaking quickly. I could see 2 squads of Harlequins with fusion pistols get rid of a Baneblade in like a round.
Do you hear what this man is saying?
Well, I love Baneblades. I want 3 of them. But they're not good right now, and that sucks. I'm hoping when they release the Astro Militarum Codex, they rework the Baneblade to be good.
Yeah, but it's not going to fix the terrain rules. Anyway, moving on.
They could do that too.
No, they won't. When using the tank Ord's ability of a regiment tank commander model, you can select one friendly regiment vehicle unit within 6 inches of that regiment tank commander model instead of selecting a regiment Lehman Russ unit.
Okay, so the short of this is tank commanders used to be able to give orders to Lehman Russes. Now, tank commanders can give orders to any vehicle. Having a tank commander turn around
and give orders to your Basilisk.
Give orders to your Basilisk.
Or your Manticore.
Or your Manticore.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's it. Now, imagine him turning to your Basilisk and going, I believe there's a thing there where they don't have to roll for their damage, or they get to boost their damage.
No, that's the tank case ability.
There's something you can help. There's some really good things you can do. I mean, they can also do move. You know, get it out of the way and still fight, still shoot. There's things you can do. I forget what they all do, but they can do them now to other vehicles.
Ooh, I like that. I agree. Now,
the big thing about it, it's noticeable. It doesn't affect Titanics, so they can't do it to Baneblades.
Titanic models should be able to destroy terrain. Moving on.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree at all. After playing an Age of Sigmar, where my giant monster went, I don't like this building, throw it aside. Oh, look, all the Stormcast fell out and they're dead.
I think having a Baneblade roll over a building or roll through a building and having it crumble behind it is the coolest.
Having my Keeper of Secrets go kaiju on a building filled with Stormcast is probably the most satisfying thing I have ever done in a Warhammer game in 15 years. Having a Baneblade go, bitch, I'm a Baneblade, and just run over a building, and have everybody have to do the emergency evacuation roll to get out of the terrain would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, 2 up. You better hit a 3 upper, and 3 upper, you're dead.
I also want to ram a raider with a Baneblade.
A raider?
Yeah, a Drakari raider.
You can
with a Baneblade. I want to ram it and crush it.
You can. I mean, I think we'll talk about. There's another whole piece to this we're going to talk about.
Anyway, each time a regiment unit with the voice of command ability issues... Oh, this is my favorite one.
This is huge.
Issues one of the following orders to a regiment infantry unit. That same order can be issued to one or more other friendly units that are within 6 inches of the unit that order was originally issued to.
Okay, don't have to read them all off. Basically, in simple terms, if somebody with the voice command gives an order that's not a regiment-specific order, because it's basically all the orders that aren't tied to a specific regiment. If they give an order to a unit, that unit and a 6-inch bubble from that unit all get that order.
Which makes it even better if you have the not the warlord trait, the relic that lets you have a chance to put 2 orders on a single unit.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking when I was talking about Caruth's narrative list.
And then there's also the ability where you can do it twice. I have one commander. I give the order over here, and I give it over here. And now all 6 of my troop units all get it. Playing Cadians that fire lots of las guns and being able to go reroll all your misses to...
And it means you need less officers.
Yeah. Now here's the other point about it. Remember that works on conscripts. You can give conscripts orders. And now that you can do 20-man blocks...
like Custodes' conscript army. Fixed bayonets. All of them get fixed bayonets. All of them get fixed bayonets.
Yeah.
I'm making so many fucking attacks right now.
That's great. My whole thing is that I'm looking at it as Cadians. They already get the reroll ones. Now they get to reroll everything. I got 6 groups of 20 guys.
Yeah.
120 lasgun shots.
And give them 5 up pinball saves.
Yes.
Anyway, so next we have Chaos Marines. This is what
is Tank Shock still a thing? No, Tank Shock is not a thing. Space Marine, good to see you, buddy.
So, Chaos Space Marines. Change the Death to the Full Semper ability to read. Each time a model with this ability makes a melee attack, hit roll of 6 up. Not 6 unmodified, 6 up. Scores 1 additional hit.
Okay, so this is a big change because it went from on a 6 up against a Imperium unit, you would get an extra attack. You'd have to roll to hit with that attack, though. What this does is it turns their 6 to actual exploding 6s, and it does it to everybody. Doesn't matter who they're fighting, 6s explode. But because it's not a roll of 6, let's say you're using a, what do we call it? It was a Dark Apostle.
+1.
I'm a Dark Apostle. I give my guys a +1 to hit. So now they're doing it on 5s because that turns into a 6 and it explodes.
And we're using a banner of excess. So now they're doing it on 4s.
And let's say you also have a Warlord as the Warstruck commander or whatever it is from the Black Legion, that he opens it up another point. So now they're exploding 3s. You could get real stupid with that. With like a focus group of, say, I don't know, 10 Terminators with twin lightning claws. Exploding 3s. Rerolling
I don't know
one.
if you can get to exploding 3s because you can only put so many +1s on that.
You're not putting +1. You're only adding a +1 to hit. You're adding a +1 to hit. Does the icon give them a +1 to hit?
The icon of excess makes it so they get Death to the False Emperor on a 5-up.
Oh, so you don't need the Warlord trait then. So you can't do any. You can only do it on still on 4-ups.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could take a set of. I don't think it'll be FAQ'd quickly, honestly, Commodore, because I'm going to tell you right now, Chaos don't got shit else going for it. They didn't get their +1 wound. They didn't get anything else. This is all they got. That's it. So, I hate to say it, but Ray found out the other day when he played against the Drukhari list that well, okay, they got some issues.
Well, yeah, I've been having. Oh, I did have another game.
Yeah.
I'll get into that in a little bit here.
So yeah, they're not going to FAQ that. I think they're going to leave them with that and give them that as their thing.
So next we have Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, although it's formatted a little weirdly. Anyway, Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights.
They're not getting their wound yet because that's going to be a book. That's going to be the book where they're going to revamp all their rules. This is a stopgap to make them at least a little bit less crunchy. They can go in and do some fighting in combat. So
all vehicle models with the Imperial Knights or Chaos Knights faction keyword gain the following ability. Towering Foe. This model counts as 5 models when determining control of an objective marker. If this model is a Titanic model, it instead counts as 10 models when determining control of an objective marker.
So basically, if you're looking at knights, your big knights count as 10 dudes. Your Helverins count as 5 dudes.
And then, if every model from your army has either the Chaos Knights or Imperial Knights faction keyword, oh, so this actually means you don't want to run it with something else.
Right.
Excluding Age of the Imperium or unaligned units, then all Armiger class and War Dog models from your army, the Knights don't get objective secure.
Right. It's just the Helverins.
From your army gain the objective secure ability. So no, your Helverins are there for just purely holding objectives at that point. Okay. So yeah. Helverins and Armigers get objective secure now.
Yeah. Or War Dogs for playing Chaos. Basically, the little Knights count as a 5-man unit, objective secured. That's massive. There is a problem. And this is the one thing that I've been trying to struggle with. We were talking about this earlier. How do they score secondaries? How are they going to score secondaries?
Because domination, something for killing the enemy army.
Yeah, you do, because Knights are going to be at least more fun now because they can actually do something in the game.
Kill Psychers, that's one of the secondaries, right? For killing, hunting and killing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to take...
killing Psychers is good right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to take something. You're going to have to take killing because your choices are going to be, domination. You're basically either I'm going to control more than half of the objective markers. I'm going to be in all 4
the
corners.
Knight Codex are going to make it so they can take actions.
Probably give them a stratagem to take an action or something. I don't know. They're going to figure out something and give them actions. But that's a good point. They'll have, what they'll do is they'll have specific actions that Knights will be able to take, because like they've done with everyone else.
Or if they're trying to keep them purely within Knights, they might. This is one thing I've heard a lot of people consider. They might give them a troop choice.
No, they're not going
to.
Why? They don't have an HQ choice. They're not going to give them a troop choice. They're going to keep them in the super heavy.
Not a troop choice, but they're going to give them a infantry choice.
And how are they going to get them in there? What slot? What army list are you going to take to put them in? Because you can't put them in a patrol.
It might be a specific Knight detachment.
That's possible. I don't buy it.
No, that's fair.
Honestly,
I don't feel like I'm not going to say that.
What they're going to do is they're going to do like they've done with all the other codexes. They're going to give them specific. They're going to give them a specific army specific secondary that they can do.
See, I've always felt that Knights should work like Agents of the Imperium. I still don't understand why they're their own army. It's weird because they've never been their own army up until now, and it's weird because Knights are always supported by Guardsmen or Mechanicus or something, and it's kind of weird that they're not now.
Well, and that's the thing. We may see that. Here's the thing. We may see that because right now you can run Knights in a...
Yeah, but this right here is points in the other direction.
No, because you don't need it in the other armies. That's the whole thing. This is saying if I'm running Knights alone, I need this ability for them. If I'm running them with Mechanicus, which I have in the Mechanicus list, I can add them as part of and I don't break up my army. So I'm betting with the Astro Military, they might do the same thing. Like, they get the whole ability to run Titanic units in as the Imperium side, as opposed to the
Maybe they'll give guardsmen like a regiment choice specifically for like knight or household guard or something like
well.
that.
Here's the whole thing, like
Because they're adding their rogue traders are now an army.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I agree. So next we have Necrons.
Necrons is huge.
Add the core keyword to keyword section of the following data sheets.
Okay, so let's just talk about real quick. Before this, Necrons, the biggest complaint they had is they only had 4 or 5 units with core. Nothing else had core. All of their great abilities that they had from leaders couldn't use on most of their army. Now they're adding
Canoptic Anthracites, Canoptic Reanimator, Canoptic Wraiths, Canoptic Reanimators. Fucking huge. Flayed Ones, Locust Destroyers, Locust Heavy Destroyers, Ophidian Destroyers, Scorpic Destroyers, Triarch Praetorians. Giving Reanimators core is huge.
Yeah.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
Reanimators and Flayed Ones. Because there's a stratagem.
I still think they need to move Flayed Ones back to troops, but that's just my opinion. I don't understand why Flayed Ones aren't troops still.
I could see them as fast attack.
They used to be troops. They moved them out of troops and put them into elites.
Yeah, they shouldn't be elites. They should be fast attack. That makes no fucking sense.
Flayed Ones would be elite. I mean, fast attack.
Yes, because their whole thing is deep striking and getting around quickly. They deep strike in. That's part of being fast attack. That's like it in
like Terminators, like Tempestus Scions.
But but the role of the Flayed One. First of all, I don't know why they're so slow.
They're dudes. They're dudes that think they have meat on their bones and they're freaking out about it. My brother Alex is here, everyone. Big clap for my brother Al. Al, do you want a quick? I know we talked about this already once, but I want you to. We got a bigger show tonight. I want you to tell this award that you recently won. I want you to quick put that in the chat there so everybody can see this wonderful award you recently won. What this was that you won for, because I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, I think he's got a point there, though.
Yeah, but they should be troops. They honestly should be troops, in my opinion. Because, I mean, they fit into the whole... There's one whole...
Although cheap troops that can deep strike is a little worrying, you know?
You mean like Tempestus Scions?
But that's the only troop you can take when you're running Tempestus Scions. And you lose it on your other benefits if you take... Like, they don't get your normal benefits as guardsmen.
Yeah.
Tempestus Scions have a flaw to them already. There's no flaw if you could just fill in your troop slots with Flayed Ones. You could pretty easily fill out some other detachments with that. Because they're cheap. They're not super cheap.
No, they're not. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all.
They're fairly cheap.
Yeah.
Anyway. Orcs.
Ooh.
When mustering an Orcs army, it cannot include more than one of each of the following units. Boom.
5 buggies. All 5 of the buggies. You're limited to 1 unit of buggies. Now,
more than one of each of the following units.
Yes.
So you can have one of each
You can
buggy.
have one of each, which means you can have up to 3 of each buggy. But they're in a single unit.
So you can't have...
Can't do 5 squid rocket trucks, which is what people were doing because they're indirect fire and super mobile.
Now
that was the big thing. They actually, by doing this, they myrtleized that specific list. There's still a lot of fun you can have there. Yeah, no more Squid Game. Hey, Mini War Mutt. So yeah. You've got the inability now to run that many rocket trucks. You can have 3 rocket trucks. You could have 3 snaz wagons. You could have 3 of the scrap jets. That's not so bad. but the big list was running 9 rocket trucks and 6, I think, of the scrap jets.
Yeah. So then they have a bunch of numbers, and I'm not going to just list all the numbers because that's
so the list
fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so here's what they basically did. The list of numbers is real simple. For AdMech, all the main units that have been abused and used basically got a 10 to 15% price upgrade. A lot of equipment got jumped in cost quite a bit. A lot of the simple 5-point pieces of equipment jumped to 10 points. And a couple of the really cheap and massive bonus Holy Order abilities all jumped up in price as well. So they basically went and they jumped up the cost of a Mechanicus army. All right. So I'm going to quick say this, and then we're going to talk about this. They basically jumped up the cost of Mechanicus. The normal build that they had out there with these prices now, the normal 2,000 point armor is about $2,450. So they really jumped up the points on that. With the Drukhari, the 2,000 point witch army that's been running around jumped it up to about 2,200, 2,300 points. So they're forcing units to be pulled back some. It's not bad. And there are some things that were given a price break to make them more likely to use, like Castellan Robots. Castellan Robots got a huge price cut. I love it. All right, so I'm going to read this out so everybody can see this because I am super proud of my brother. My brother, as you guys know, I talk about this all the time. He is the man that taught me everything I know about modeling. He taught me terrain building. He taught me modeling. He taught me visualization techniques for building terrain, for building models, for kit bashing. The man taught me all this stuff. And he was inducted as a U.S. Scale Model Association Hall of Fame. This is a man that I already was just in awe of the work he does. He is in the Hall of Fame of people that build models. I mean, that's amazing. This is an honest to goodness amazing thing. I mean, he's deserving of it. He's so deserving. I know I've shared links of his stuff before, and I've shared it on Mythos to show him on the Art of the Week. His stuff is amazing. And to see him actually being put in the Scale Modeling Hall of Fame is something awesome.
Yeah.
Now you add on to it that he won some awards for a couple very specific models. And I mean, I constantly show off the Humvee he made for me, the copy of basically the Humvee I drove around with during the early 90s when I was in the military. I mean, it's so spot on. It's so amazingly spot on. And it's just, I've said it before, and I'm not one of these guys that has to I love my brother. I absolutely love and adore, and my brother is my idol. When I was growing up, I didn't have a dad, but I did have the best big brother you could ever ask for. And he took the place of a dad for a very long time. Between him and my sister Tam, I was never lacking for parentage. Mom was working all the time, so I had the two of them. And it's amazing to see other people in the world recognizing how amazing his work is. Every time we go to his house, you go in and look at his models. I mean, they're the same models have been up there, but we look at them because it's just like, holy crap, they're just so cool looking. The stuff he's got displayed in his house, the stuff he's got displayed in his hobby room, and whatever he's got new on the bench, he's got it all laid out. And I mean, he would see my bench and he would just hit me. Squirt, what are you doing here? Your bench is a mess. Because, it's
a fucking mess.
It's a mess. And his place, I mean, you could take his workbench and you could do like a showcase, not just of his models, but you could do a showcase of his bench and how he's got everything organized. You know, he's got the hooks over here that he's got his couple of different airbrushes hooked up to and hanging on these different hangs here and all of his stuff. Like I said, I've learned so much in my life from this guy. To see people recognize how amazing he is just leave it alone. It's noisy, leave it alone. It makes me so happy. It really just makes me amazingly happy to see, you know, other people recognizing how amazing my big brother is. So yeah, honestly, Mythos, his bench is worthy of an art of the week because it's like, how do you have, you know, 6 feet of shelves and all the drawers are perfectly arranged and labeled, and here's the racks, and here's the drawers of the paint, and here's the airbrushes, and the lights, and it's just his workbench is a freaking piece of art. I mean, then you get to his actual models. It's just amazing. And he, like I said, he needs an example. And Phoenix knows, I mean, it's funny. We'll talk about stuff. It is funny. We've talked about certain modeling things. We're like, oh yeah, blah, 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 because that's stuff her dad taught both of us. And we're talking to Commodore, and he's like, why would you do that? And it's like, well, because it's better to do it to it. I don't understand that. Well, it's because you're a nerd. But you're not the right kind of nerd. You're
That's mean.
I mean, he's a good guy, but I mean, the fact that he doesn't understand how to use good glue, it's not in the tube. I don't know how to use it. Put it on a brush. It's better. Couple. Okay, shut up. You see, this is what I'm talking about. He's got them all perfectly laid out in the hoses. It's like, and this airbrush is for this, and this airbrush is for this. And seriously, who? F you too, buddy.
Get him learned. Learned.
We'll get him there eventually. We'll get him trained up. Get him out of his diapers and then the big boy pants. Oof. Oof. Put that back down. Quit messing with that.
I'm looking. It's cool. It's cool.
Yes. And I don't want to lose it. That's the only 3 pieces I've built so far. I'm still working on that. So,
Suffer.
Yeah, it's been. So these changes really are all about balance, and they are great. I think they're really, really, really great. I think they're gonna do a lot of work to really balance out the game and the problems it has right now. Is it perfect? No. Were they heavy-handed? Hell yeah, they're heavy-handed. But I think
it was kind of necessary.
It was needed.
The state of the game was getting,
incredibly
stale.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, when you go to Goonhammer and you're like, all right, the meta. These are the three armies that are winning. Here's why. Here's this list, and here's what's interesting about it. I swear to God, one of these weeks they just put in, and this is what's interesting about it. It's not interesting. It's the same list. I mean, they've got templates that they're like, oh, and they're running this list. And so many people were running this exact same cancerous list. It was just like, this isn't fun anymore.
They got to be careful because there's someone that they didn't nerf that is kind of a little problem. The Dread Knights are still like really cheap for what they're doing.
Dread Knights?
Yeah, the Grey Knight Dread Knights.
Because those are brand new. They haven't had a chance to really work them out.
Yeah, that's fair.
We've got
I just think they should be careful because I've been just like seeing people theory crafting.
I've been looking for that. Give that to me.
I just found it on the floor.
I know. It's important.
You dropped it. Why'd you drop it? Stubborn.
Oh yeah, you better stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we're going to quick talk about airbrushes while we wrap things up, I'm going to do a quick question here, and I'm going to ask the Hall of Fame painter miniature builder, what would you say is, in your opinion, the best 3, and I'm not talking just they're the best because they're the best. I mean, when you what do you call it? When you talk price point versus support versus durability, reliability, what would you say are the best 3 airbrushes out there? They're getting there, actually, Mythos. That's the problem. The Grey Knights are quickly creeping up to that 60% mark. So imagine, yeah, it's 4 Dread Knights because you get a chapter master or whatever they're called, they're something master in a Dread Knight, and then 3 regular Dread Knights, and they're grotesque. And that's a lot of what the lists are running right now. But there's a lot of different ways to run that list. That's why it's not so, but they're getting up there in percentage. When they get to a point, I figure by the time Chapter Approved comes out, they're going to get nerfed.
I just want my Chaos Space Marines Codex.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
You can want that. You know what's going to be funny? You get out and they're going to give them 1 wound. No, they get 1.5 wounds.
I'll quit.
Round down.
I'll just sell my entire army.
Nice.
Here, take it. I'm going to build Marines now.
That's a good boy. Build Marines. Marines.
And they wonder why most people play Marines, so it's hard to get narrative games going.
Because Marines are the best.
Because they don't give anyone else
anything! No, you shouldn't build Marines. You know what you should build at that point?
What?
You should build Orcs.
No.
You should build Orcs.
I don't want to play Orcs.
You should play Guard.
No. I want to play my Chaos Space Marines, but they
don't suck. They don't suck right now. They're just so. Hey, Chaos Space Marines just won the Houston Open.
They don't actually suck. That's me messing around because I won my last game as Chaos Space Marine.
No,
so
Chaos Space Marines won the Houston Open.
Yeah, with the bullshit Abaddon list.
Well, I mean, it didn't have any Marines in it.
Yeah. Okay, listen. At least your sisters have.
Okay, so number 1, Posh. Number 2, Badger. Number 3, Iowata. Now, I've known about Badger. I've known about Iowata. I've heard of Posh, mainly because I've heard of my brother talking about him. But so, yeah, I mean, to learn it, that's what I did. I got that master set out of Amazon. But my brother's telling you, Posh is good, and they're not that expensive. Get a Posh. I mean, the man knows what he knows. So, as we wrap up for the evening, first off, I want to remind everybody, if you're not subscribed, hit subscribe.
Please.
If you're here, we're enjoying this, you have a good time, hit that thumbs up so that we know that we're entertaining you. That's what we're all about. Bringing knowledge and bringing entertainment to the hobby world. Now, going to give a big shout out to all my Patreons. We're going to start off with my Battle Brother level patrons. My 2 Battle Brother patrons. The amazing and wonderful, but he's not here, and I miss him, Inquisitor Zane. And then say my name. Say my name.
No.
My name is Brian, the Mini War Mutt.
No. Oh, there he is. Can we just for a shout out? There we go.
Now, after that, we've got our Battle Leader tier Patreon members, of which we have 3. Oh, 3 right now. Because we have 4. We have 4. Because we have Mr. James Brown coming from us out of merry old England. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate your support. We've got the ever entertaining, and it was nice enough to let me co-host his show last week, Mythos of the Amazing Frosted Fists. We have Greg. I've got Necrons. Yes, I do. I've got Necrons. How about you, Tesh?
Oh, God. You're an embarrassment.
Keep going.
And it is just 3 of them. It is just 3 of them. I got 7 patrons, and then lastly, I have my 2 Warlord tier patrons. I have first off the wonderful, the beautiful, the amazingly talented Flight of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then coming in from high orbits, reminding everyone, be good, or they get shot in the back of the head. The Commodore. So do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you enjoy this stuff, ring that bell so you know when we're going to do this. Because we just recently did another effort. We'll do it live. And we're all about keeping the entertainment live. We're hoping with the coming of the new year, I'm working out a deal with Games Universe. I'll actually be filming some how-to-play videos out there so we can get people into 9th edition. Because there's still people that are confused by some of the order of operations and stuff in 9th edition. So I want to get some of that out there. And hopefully at the beginning of the year, we'll get that narrative game going.
Yeah.
And get some of those narrative events going. And start up the new... The channel is going to be kind of I wouldn't say a revamp, but we're going to get like hyper focused next year. COVID kind of took the wind out of my sails this year. So I just kind of focused on getting my stuff put together. So we're going to refocus coming in the year. But I will let you know, I am working on, just like I did last year, my end of the year challenge. There is going to be some sort of kit bash challenge come a couple weeks from now. We'll be talking about it. We're going to be talking about kit bashing, and we're going to be talking about kit bashing something cool, something different, and a way to get around the norms. So thank you all for coming in. We thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great evening. Remember, epic your board, epic your game, and epic your life. I'm Big D.
Well,
and game on.